Hello and welcome to my demo and tutorial video for my first Unity extension called ViewStacks. So this is a typical use case for the ViewStacks. We have a wizard-like interface, and in the center of this interface we have the content area, which contains text and image in this case. And you also have next and previous buttons, which can be used to switch between different pages which share the same space. Now let's have a look how this would be created. For example, I can use the new Unity interface and create a panel which will be our window of the dialog. So let's name it Wizard Window Panel. And inside this panel I add another panel which is basically the container for the pages. So this is the area that will change and where different contents will be shown. So let's also rename this into Pages Container. And here we add the actual contents, which can be, for example, also panels. Let's name this page Red and give it a red color just for demonstration purpose. Now I add another panel and name it Panel Green, for example. Make it green and so on. So we create different pages which share the same space of the dialog. Okay, so now I created my container, my dialog, with different pages, and I have the pages red, green and blue. Now the problem is these overlap, and when I want to edit the red page, for example, then I have to select the green and the blue page because they overlap with the red page, and I have to deactivate them manually to access the red page, where I can now change the contents, for example, of this page. So let's just do some dummy changes here. Now when I want to add contents or change contents of the green page, I have again to select the red and the blue one, hide them and show the green page. So same when I want to show everything, I need to activate everything again. So this process can be eased a lot with using the ViewStacks. We show them by selecting a window, ViewStacks. Then we get this interface, which also gives us the opportunity to create a ViewStack, which is the first necessary step. So just click it and an empty object will be created named ViewStack. And this one has an empty component ViewStack which will hold the data. Now we have a group called Slides, and I need to add all these contents to this slide. I can do this by, for example, dragging an object from the history to this field, and then it will be added to the slides. Or I can select multiple objects, click the selected button, and everything will be added at once. And now when I want to show the red page, I just have to click once. Same with blue or green, and all the other pages in the group will be hidden automatically. There are a few more options to work with a ViewStack, which is based on hotkeys. For example, you can use Shift to show or hide all elements in one ViewStack at once. Or you can use Control to show or hide single elements only without changing the others. And you can also press Alt while clicking to delete them, so which is just a removal from the stack. The object itself will not be changed, so it's still here in the scene. Finally, you can also rename the group, which can be done by holding Control and clicking, and then you can type a new name, let's say Wizard Slides, for example, and then it's renamed. Another possibility is to use the right mouse button to select the object that is mentioned in the list, so for example the game object or the ViewStack container which holds the ViewStack component. So holding Alt and clicking on the group will just remove the ViewStack component from the empty object. So it's no longer here, the empty object is still there. We can just delete it in this case because we do not need it any longer. So I extended this example with a previous and next button, and we can also use the classes shipped with the ViewStacks extension to create the wizard behavior at runtime. So when I click next, then the same will happen as if I click the eye icons, and during runtime you can use it to swap between the contents. And this can be done very easily by using a browser object, which can be created by ViewStack using the new browser function. And when we have this browser object, we can just use next and previous to create this browsing functionality. Finally, the ViewStacks can not only be used for 2D GUI scenes, but also for 3D scenes, like this garden scene, for example. This is a complex scene with a lot of objects which are hiding each other, which makes things hard when creating single objects or changing single objects in the scene. So we have bushes, trees, stones, and also characters, for example, which are nearly invisible because they're somewhere inside this little wood. So, and I organized the elements already by type, by grouping them as children of empty objects. So for example, all the bushes, all the trees, all the stones are part of a single group. And when I want to see all the characters, for example, I have to select all the other groups and hide them to see the character, which I can then, for example, rotate or place somewhere else. And then I have to select all the other groups again, make them active again to display them in the scene. Now let's see how ViewStacks can be useful here. We also create a group called slides, and we add all our elements here, and then I can use a single click to switch between these groups and make them visible one only at a time, which makes it easier for editing. And I can also use Shift to display everything again before I publish my game, for example. So this was my demo video and tutorial for my ViewStack extension for Unity. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.